Imagine a tiny island smaller than many major cities with no natural resources to speak of. No oil wells, no vast forests, not even enough fresh water of its own. Now imagine that same island today, a global financial powerhouse, a gleaming metropolis where the average person earns more than in the United States, the United Kingdom, or Germany. This is the story of Singapore. But how did this unlikely transformation happen? Was it a miracle of free markets and hard work, or something else entirely? Let's unpack the ambitious and sometimes controversial journey of the Lion City. Our story begins in 1965. Singapore didn't gain independence, it was in a way cast out. Kicked out of the Malaysian Federation, this nascent nation faced daunting odds. 3/4 of its population were ethnic Chinese in a Malay-dominated region, facing significant racial tensions. 1/3 of its people lived in slums and half were illiterate. They didn't even control their own water supply, having to buy it from the very country that had just expelled them. By all conventional measures, Singapore was set up for failure. Most places in this situation might have succumbed to despair. But Singapore's founding leader, Lee Kuan Yew, had a radical vision. He decided Singapore wouldn't try to be a typical nation-state. Instead, it would operate like a ruthlessly efficient, forward-thinking business, laser-focused on a single objective, making foreign companies want to invest there. Every policy, every law, every decision was engineered to serve this overarching goal. How did they execute this bold plan? They created an environment of exceptional stability and predictability. Corruption, rampant in the region, was met with severe penalties, including the death sentence for politicians taking bribes. Strikes and public protests were heavily restricted, ensuring labor peace and social order, which was highly attractive to investors nervous about political instability elsewhere. Economically, they threw open their doors. Taxes were slashed to near zero for foreign businesses. Free trade was embraced long before it was fashionable globally. They poured resources into building world-class infrastructure, a port that became the world's busiest, an airport that consistently ranks among the best, reliable power and water utilities. They also invested heavily in their people, creating a highly educated and skilled workforce through extensive education and training programs, ensuring they could meet the complex demands of modern industries. This strategic approach became known metaphorically as the poisonous shrimp strategy. Singapore was too small to physically defend itself against larger powers, but by making itself an indispensable hub for global trade and finance, it aimed to become too costly and too integral to the world economy for anyone to mess with. They made themselves essential middlemen. The results of this intense engineering were nothing short of spectacular. Singapore didn't just survive, it thrived beyond imagination. Today, its gross domestic product per capita stands at an astonishing $94,000 a year, surpassing many long-established Western economies like the United States, Germany, and the United Kingdom. It has displaced Hong Kong to become Asia's leading financial center, managing trillions of dollars in assets. Its port handles a staggering 30% of the world's oil trade and a significant portion of global container traffic. This tiny island is a crucial node in the global economic network. On the surface, this is a story of unbridled success, a clean upward trajectory. But like any highly engineered system, Singapore's model comes with significant trade-offs and faces inherent vulnerabilities. The focus on economic growth and stability has created a society with unique pressures. Life in Singapore is incredibly expensive. A modest 3-bedroom apartment can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and rent can consume a vast portion of a person's income, sometimes up to 70%. Owning a car is a luxury far out of reach for most, with taxes pushing the price of even a standard sedan well into the tens of thousands or even over $100,000. The government owns the majority of the land, controlling urban planning and housing distribution through extensive public housing programs, which, while providing homes, also give the state significant influence over where and how people live. The work culture is known for its intensity and long hours, leading to stress and impacting work-life balance. Socially, the emphasis on order and control means civil liberties that people in many Western democracies take for granted are curtailed. Public assembly and protest are severely restricted, and even criticism of the government online can lead to fines or other penalties. Despite these pressures and controls, a significant portion of the population accepts this social contract. Why? because the system delivers on its core promise: stability, security, and prosperity. Crime rates are among the lowest in the world, healthcare is world-class, and public services like transportation are remarkably efficient. For many, the benefits of safety and economic opportunity outweigh the limitations on personal freedoms. However, the very factors that fueled Singapore's rise are now facing unprecedented challenges in a rapidly changing global landscape. Singapore's extreme reliance on international trade, its exports are equivalent to roughly 3 times its GDP, makes it incredibly vulnerable to global economic shifts. When global trade slows down, Singapore feels the impact acutely. We are seeing this play out now. In 2025, Singapore is navigating significant headwinds. The global economy is slowing. Geopolitical tensions are leading to increased protectionism and trade barriers. The United States recently applied a 10% tariff on Singapore's exports, and other countries are imposing their own restrictions. This rise in nationalism and the potential fragmentation of global supply chains directly threaten Singapore's role as the ultimate middleman. Recent economic data reflects this pressure. While the year-on-year growth might still appear positive, quarter-on-quarter figures have shown contraction, putting Singapore technically close to or in a recession. Manufacturing is struggling, tourism numbers have been impacted, and even the domestic retail sector is feeling the pinch, with customer satisfaction scores declining. The government, known for its proactive approach, is clearly concerned. They have taken unusual steps, like cutting interest rates multiple times within a year, a move they typically avoid. They are also deploying significant resources into job training programs and wage subsidies to try and mitigate the impact on workers. Beyond the immediate economic pressures, Singapore faces long-term structural challenges. Its aging population, driven by one of the world's lowest birth rates, the total fertility rate was just 0.97 in 2024, means a shrinking workforce supporting a growing number of retirees. This demographic shift puts immense pressure on healthcare and social services. Furthermore, climate change poses an existential threat to a low-lying island nation heavily reliant on coastal infrastructure. Rising sea levels and changing weather patterns require massive investments in resilience and adaptation. The advent of artificial intelligence and the restructuring of global supply chains could fundamentally alter the nature of the trade and finance industries that form the bedrock of Singapore's economy. The fundamental question is this: can Singapore's highly controlled, engineered system adapt quickly and flexibly enough to a world that is becoming increasingly unpredictable and less reliant on the old models of globalization? What happens when the master plan runs into forces it cannot control with precision? Singapore bet everything on being the perfect hub in a connected world. But what if the world decides it needs fewer hubs and more localized production? Singapore's journey from a struggling island outcast to a global economic titan is undeniably remarkable. It demonstrates the power of strategic planning, strong governance, and a relentless focus on economic objectives. But its greatest test isn't in the past. It's happening right now. The next few years will reveal whether Singapore's miracle was primarily a product of favorable global tailwinds, or if its unique model possesses the resilience and adaptability to navigate the turbulent waters ahead. Watching Singapore's evolution offers valuable lessons, not just for small nations, but for any society grappling with the complexities of globalization, technological disruption, and demographic shifts. Can it continue to thrive by maintaining strict control, or will it need to evolve socially and politically to remain relevant and dynamic in the 21st century? What do you think? Can Singapore's model endure the mounting pressures? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to understand the forces shaping the global economy, make sure you subscribe to EconoSphere and hit that notification bell. We're here to explore the stories that matter.